Hello there, good evening and welcome to the broadcast. Thank you for your valuable company tonight. You're watching EBN Prime Edition with me, Cynthia Nanjala. It is quite a brand new week and we are grateful to be here this 17th day of July 2023. We've got quite a lot in store for you tonight, so let's get started with the day's top stories.
I never assaulted anyone. Yeah. Do I look like assaulting anybody?
I did not assault anyone. Kitui East Member of Parliament Nimrod Mbai now says, as he alleges the video footage was fabricated.
Have chosen to ignore the illegal directive that was given by CS Kindiki.
Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition leaders censure Interior Cabinet Secretary Professor Kithure Kindiki over plans to sabotage quote-unquote peaceful protests to be held on Wednesday to Friday. A drinking nation, Nakada releases report that indicates alcoholism has deep roots in the country. Well, you can be part of this bulletin. Watch us live on Facebook on EBN TV. SMS line is 23993. Let's kick it off with what is making headlines across the country. Azimio One Kenya coalition has come out to reiterate that the planned peaceful protests for Wednesday, Thursday and Friday will go on as planned because it is provided for in the Constitution. Azimio says no one has the power to suspend what the Constitution offers, referring to the warnings given by the government against the planned demos. The coalition also says the collection of signatures is still on.
Protests will go on in line with Article 37 of our Constitution, which, as you all know, provides for freedom of peaceful assembly. Now, Kenya Kwanza claim that protesters are being paid. Now, for anyone to claim that those protesters who came out in hundreds and thousands in places like Emali, Busia, Kitale, Kilifi, Kakamega, Machakos, and Nairobi, among other places, were paid is to be extremely insincere. Across the world, responsible leaders and regimes admit failure of their policies and quit in the interest of the nation. Don't ask us for solutions. Quit and pave way for a regime that has solutions.
We have received intelligence that in fact senior police officers in the Kenyan Police Command have chosen to ignore the illegal directive that was given by CS Kindiki for police officers to shoot protesters. And that is the reason why the president convened a PG, because he knows the police will not do his dirty work. He has now told his own members of parliament to mobilize people in their constituencies to come and harm protesters.
The United Nations has pronounced itself on the situation in the country, especially on the issue of police brutality and the killings that went on during the demonstration. I want to state very clearly that the earlier petition by Azimio to ICC is very active. And we want to encourage the United Nations and ICC to note the events of this week.
Now let's stick on that and look at a different angle where the High Court on Monday declined to stop the scheduled 3-day-long Azimio demonstrations when it pushed the mention of the case to a date after the protests. In his ruling, High Court Judge Justice Lawrence Mugambi directed that the application and petition be filed in the next 3 days and responses within 10 days and set the hearing date for July 21st. The case was filed by litigant Martin Gitau against Azimio leader Raila Odinga and the former President Uhuru Kenyatta. Gitau sought court orders to compel Raila Odinga, Uhuru Kenyatta and Azimio la Umoja coalition to compensate individuals and the public for any losses arising from demonstrations. Martin Gitau also wants the court to declare that the two leaders and the ODM party bear responsibility for the loss and damage that occurred during the protest last week, including the lives lost, injuries suffered, and property destroyed. Justice Mugambi Court, however, declined to issue the orders and instead set the case for mentioning on September 20th. Listen to this. Kitui East Member of Parliament Nimrod Mbai has denied allegations that he assaulted a Kenya Power officer who had laid a team to the MP's home to disconnect illegally connected power. Asserting his innocence, Mbai, who claims to be a pastor, stated that he had no knowledge of the incident in question and that the alleged video footage had been tampered with. About a week ago, the video footage of a man who is alleged to be the Kitui East legislator surfaced online, where he appears to assault a KPLC engineer. Tonight, be the judge. Here is Fred Njiri with a report.
In the Monday, 3rd July 2023 incident captured on camera, the agitated MP is seen involved in an altercation with a Kenya Power official who were in his residence at Enka City, Kitengela, on normal power connection checkup.
Na hii moto inaenda kwa familia yangu. Kama ilikuwa inakuja kwangu usingeongea, ningenyamaza kama mwanaume.
Things turned ugly after the officials notified the Member of Parliament that his power was illegally connected, prompting its disconnection. Mbai is seen in the video using abusive language and invoking President William Ruto's name, claiming he had given a directive that power that is illegally connected be metered instead of being disconnected.
The president said this. The president said, mtu akenya power, ukipata mtu ameunganisha stima, wekea yeye meter, uhesabu uchukue pesa, si kumkata.
In the video, the man claimed to be the MP is seen grabbing the official by the shirt before hitting him and almost taking out what appears to be a gun from its holster. The man continues to grab the official by the shirt, demanding that he makes a phone call to his bosses.
I think we should start it the other way around. Why are you here?
14 days later, expressing no remorse, Nimrod Mbai defended his actions, stating that he was innocent. Mbai, who claims to be a pastor, stated that he had no knowledge of the incident in question and claimed that the video footage had been tampered with.
What did I do? No, I never assaulted anyone. Yeah. Do I look like assaulting anybody? I'm a pastor. Yeah, a renowned pastor, actually.
The MP was speaking outside the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission offices after he was summoned by the Ethics Commission. EACC Chief Executive Officer Twalib Mbarak had condemned Mbai's behavior, calling on Kenyans to choose their leaders wisely.
So, the reason they invited me was to question about my ethics around what happened on that day. And I gave my statement. I've just given my statement, and I'm waiting to see what happens. Yeah, I'm out on cash bail, so that's it. Then EACC took over their beat on ethics. That's why I'm here. I'm waiting for another person who will take over from their beat, and I take it on.
As the jury in this case, be the judge, can you spot the difference?
Quite interesting that, and thank you, Fred, for that report. Now, alcohol is the highest drug consumed in the country despite the high cost of living. A report issued by NACADA indicates that 1 in 8 Kenyans between the age of 15 and 65 consume alcohol, and about 3.2 million people, including 2.5 million men, consume the alcohol. The latest report by NACADA indicates that Western Coast and Central are the leading top 3 sports in the country with 23.8%, 13.9% and 12.8% respectively in alcohol consumption. Roifan Shikuku reports.
Shinyalu in Kakamega is known for its preparation of high-quality chang'aa, which sells at about 150 shillings per litre. Though with as low as 10 shillings, one can get a bottle top shot. Busa, on the other hand, is slowly being abandoned because of the skyrocketing price of maize, which is the main constituent in its preparation. In Kisumu, chang'aa is called achwaka, but changli is also its name if it is in small amount, that is barely 30 milliliters, which is sold at about 20 shillings. The affordability may be the reason for alcohol's high consumption in the nation. Some consumers claim that the local illegal brew helps them to skip a meal or two because according to them, the economy is too tough to be sober at meal times. According to National Campaign Against Alcohol and Drug Abuse NACADA, alcohol consumption among workers is also high at 23.8%. Thus, they highly exhibit alcohol use disorder, with 5.7% showing mild alcohol use disorder, 3% showing moderate alcohol use disorder, while 4.5% showing severe alcohol use disorder. Statistics point out that in Nairobi, Donholm highly sells chang'aa, Kayole Junction highly sells keg, at Hakati bus station, 60% of stalls sells wines and spirits. Mfangano sells hard drugs and alcohol, Mudhurwa sells chang'aa, bang, hard drugs and alcohol, while Easy Coach Stage, Mlolongo, Cabanas, Mwiki Komaina, Njiru and Eastern Bypass are notorious for alcohol.
Centro is leading in the potable spirits. And from our research, we've seen that the content of those spirits, the alcohol levels are very high and some are very poisonous. And so that's why when people take, then they are affected very badly. That's why Centro is a major concern.
Subsequently, statistics from the Kenya Demographic Health Survey are echoed by NACADA statistics that women consume more alcohol than men in Turkana, Kiambu and Murang'a County, whereby 38% women consume one drink compared to 25% of men who consume the same drink.
The problem of online sale of alcohol and drugs has complicated the matter. If a 10-year or 15-year-old sits in Uhuru Park and orders and it is delivered by a motorbike, how do you control that?
Statistics further reveal that men consume more as they get aged, but less as they get richer. On the other hand, alcohol is the second most substance which is known in the nation after tobacco, yet it's the most consumed substance.
Arrests of over 3,000 people. We have confiscated in excess of 2 million liters of illicit alcohol.
Many leaders have tried to solve the issue, but their efforts to curb alcohol consumption have not proved to be successful. For EBN TV, I'm Roifan Shikuku.
Thanks, Roy, for that. Controversial Bishop Gilbert Juma Adeya has this morning been acquitted of stealing 5 children. Milimani Senior Principal Magistrate Robinson Ondieki ruled that the prosecution failed to establish a prima facie case against Adeya. The court noted that the burden of proof against the accused was wanting, as none of the evidence placed the accused where the subjects were recovered. The suspicion being strong cannot make someone guilty, said the judge. Adeya was facing 5 counts of stealing children in 2017. Early in May, Adeya told the court that the state fabricated the theft of 5 children case against him without evidence. While defending himself from the allegation, the preacher, who was on August 4, 2017, deported to Kenya from the United Kingdom to face child theft charges, denied all the 5 counts leveled against him by the state.
The prosecution made a lot of capital out of a number of circumstances in a bid to establish the accused was guilty. But that evidence does not satisfy the legal requirements of circumstantial evidence to warrant the conviction of the accused and ultimately make a finding that the prosecution has not proved their case in all the counts beyond reasonable doubt, and acquit the accused person in all the counts under Section 215 of the CPC, and set him free unless otherwise held back.
Acquitted on this kind of burden, a yoke on my shoulder, which has been putting me into a dilemma, not working, not making also the headway. It has been so sad that I've been labeled as a child stealer. Some people say I'm a child trafficker.
He has no squabbles with anybody. In fact, from what he has shared with me, he has forgiven his perpetrators as a man of God, and he desires to move forward with his life.
Now, Chief Justice Martha Koome has urged the Commission on Revenue Allocation, CRA, to always strive to meet the needs of Kenyans in every corner of the country. Koome was speaking on Monday after presiding over the swearing-in of Mary Wanyonyi as the chairperson of the Commission on Revenue Allocation. The Chief Justice said the CRA must endeavor to understand the unique needs and aspirations of each county and ensure they get their rightful share. Wanyonyi Mary was vetted for the position on June 22nd, where she pledged to focus on enhancing the country's own revenue generation if she was considered for the job to which she has gotten it.
In making recommendation, shall seek to define and enhance the revenue sources of the national and county governments. Currently, revenue estimates are unrealistic and ambitious, and are applied as balancing figures to support the budget. The failure to collect the revenue leads to pending bills at the end of the financial year, and this negatively impacts service delivery at the county level. County-owned source revenue, the OSR, can make a significant impact in improving the livelihoods and welfare of Kenyans. The game changer for the counties will be to automate revenue collection. Through automation, counties can collect beyond their potential. Under my leadership, the Commission will endeavor to guide on the use of an integrated county revenue management system. The economies of scale enjoyed by this system will significantly reduce the cost of revenue administration in counties and significantly increase the revenue collection across counties.
You are the steward of our nation's resources. You're going to provide a guiding hand that will ensure that every shilling is fairly and equitably distributed. This responsibility is critical in shaping the course of our nation, in supporting our counties to achieve their development potential, and ensuring the economic and social rights of all our Kenyans are met.
Members of the county assemblies, MCAs across the country have now called off their 3-month strike to pave the way for the Senate to investigate their grievances. Through the Association of Members of the County Assemblies, AMCA, MCAs have agreed to resume their plenaries in the Assembly, awaiting recommendations by the Senate. In May, members of 35 county assemblies downed tolls to agitate for a review of their salaries from the current 86,000 Kenyan shillings to the previous 165,000, which was slashed by the Salaries and Remunerations Commission.
Tumeweza kutembelea ofisi kadhaa. Tumetembelea ofisi ya Deputy President, tumetembelea ofisi ya Anne Waiguru ambayo ni ya COG, na tumeongea na SRC. Na mwishowe Mungu akatusaidia tukaweza kwenda Senate committee ya devolution. SRC ilipewa mwezi moja. Kwa hivyo we are not calling off the strike. Kile tumefanya ni kwamba tumepatia Senate mwezi moja ili iweze kuwa ili tuambie progress. If at all there is no progress, definitely we go back to our strike. Kwa hivyo Tuesday all assemblies zitakutana tena ili ziweze kuendelea mambo ya budget, mambo ya planning na mambo ya oversight. Ndipo tunasema ya kwamba tulisema ya kwamba pesa za MCAs zirudishwe pahali zilikuwa. Hii mambo ya tukata mshahara, na umeona hii mambo ambayo tunakuja kuangalia ya oversight haiwezi fanyika mtu akiwa hana mileage, haiwezi fanyika kama una pesa za kutembea. Kwa hivyo ndipo tumesema ya kwamba SRC ambao huwa wanakaa kwa ofisi, sisi tumeonyesha vile mtu anatakana kufanya kazi, hawazikae kwa ofisi na kuweka mishahara ya watu. Na unaona yule mtu alikata mshahara tu ni MCA. Hao wengine kwa sababu bunge ndio inawa appropriate mshahara yao, ndio inawekea marupurupu. Bunge vitu vyo vyote viko sawa. Wakati tumetembea tumeona ya kwamba wabunge wako sawa. Yule mtu ambaye amenyanyazwa na kudhulumiwa ni huyu mtetezi wa wanyonge ambaye ni MCA, ambaye anakaa na watu. Hata rais tumemwambia ya kwamba pesa za MCA zirudishwe pahali zilikuwa. Na tumesema hatutaki kuongezwa pesa, sisi hatutaki kuongezewa mshahara. Tunataka pesa za MCAs irudishwe 165 kutoka 86 pahali watu tupeleka. Wakati county assemblies ambazo tulikuwa tumeenda on strike ziko 35.
Kenyan women leaders through the Eco Network African Union have called on all leaders and Kenyans in general to maintain peace and calm during the protest because the Constitution provides for personal responsibility and others. Addressing the media, they have asked President William Ruto to be responsible because it is his duty to protect the lives of Kenyans, their property, and the Constitution as he swore to defend it.
Important that Kenyans give space for dialogue so that we can build our economy and the nation together. While we appreciate that all Kenyans have a right to picket, demonstrate, and assemble, we always remember that our constitutions provide that such actions should be carried out peaceably and that participants should be unarmed. The sort of wild behavior by some sections of our people which we have witnessed recently, and that has resulted in loss of lives and destruction of properties, cannot be condoned. Equally disturbing is the unacceptable use of force by some sections of the law enforcement agencies in their bid to quell the unrest. As a result, Kenyans are in pain and they are afraid. Admittedly, cost of living is high. Majority of Kenyans can barely afford necessities, including food, medical services, fuel, and other needs. As a result, Kenyans are hungry and angry. We appeal for calmness and patience. We wish to bring to the attention of all Kenyans that as a constitutional democracy, Kenya is a country that's governed by the rule of law. Therefore, everybody is expected to play by these rules.
Residents from Laikipia West are lamenting over the rise of insecurity in the area despite the heavy presence of police officers. This follows the killing of a national police reservist within Konamawe village in Kieni, Githiga ward, and a businessman at Karaba shopping center in Marmanet ward. The rising insecurity cases have left residents in distress and are now calling on the government to move with speed and ensure the criminals behind the spate of crimes in the region are apprehended and brought to book.
Hao wezi walikuja wakaanza wakalipua risasi, wakaanza kutigisa mlango, wakapiga mzee wangu risasi, akaaguka chini, wakakuja wakaanza kunipiga, akiniuliza pesa iko wapi. Saa hii mzee ako chini na nilikuwa na katoto kadogo, nikakashika walikuwa wananipiga, nikawaambia pesa iko hapo, wakachukua pesa, akaniuliza hiyo ingine iko wapi, nikawaambia mahali ilikuwa, wakachukua.
Majina yangu ni Resho Kifushi. Bwana yangu aliuliwa jana. Mimi ningependa tu kama Ruto anaweza nisikia awe wa kunisaidia ili watoto wangu wasome.
Jana mwendo wa saa 10 jioni, wakora ambao walikuwa wamejihami na mabuduki walikuja kujaribu kuimba ng'ombe hapa katikati ya mpaka wetu ya area hii ya Kongoni na Laikipia Conservancy. nao vijana wetu wa NPR ambao tulipewa na serikali walikabiliana na hao, na kwa bahati mbaya mmoja wao ambaye anaitwa Steven Kibushi alipigwa risasi ya kichwa na ya tumbo, na kwa bahati mbaya akauawa.
Tungependa kuuliza serikali yetu, hasa waziri wa mambo ya ndani Mheshimiwa Kindiki, kuna hili shamba ambalo tunapakana nalo hapa, hili shamba la Laikipia Nature Conservancy, na huko ndio hawa majangili, hawa haini, hawa wahuni.
A section of legislators from Kisii County, led by Kitutu Church and North Member of Parliament Japheth Nyakundi, have urged the area residents to shun away from calls against anti-government demonstrations by the Azimio. The leaders claim that the only way to reduce the cost of living is by investing more in farming.
Watu wetu wote mahali mpo hapa Kisii na Kenya nzima, haya maandamano ambayo yanaendelea hayatakuwa ya manufaa kwetu kama wananchi wa Jamhuri ya Kenya. Kwa hivyo sisi tunaomba ya kwamba haya maandamano tuyawache kwanza, tupatie serikali ambayo iko nafasi iweze kufanya yale matakwa ambayo wananchi wa Jamhuri ya Kenya wanataka. Tunajua gharama ya maisha imeenda juu, bei ya unga imeenda juu, bei ya kila kitu kimeenda juu, lakini tukiweka sufuria kwa kichwa, bei ya unga haitaenda chini. Mwezi wa 3 watu wa hapa Kisii walienda shambani wakapanda mahindi, na sasa nimeona mahindi imekuwa. Hao mwezi wa 3 walienda maandamano wakaweka sufuria na mahindi hakuna. Kwa hivyo mimi nawaomba sisi wote tuweze kupatiana nafasi kwa serikali na hata wabunge, hata mpaka MCA, nafasi yaweze kupanga kazi yake.
Now to some business news. The rising number of digital money lenders has been identified as one of the major challenges currently facing the savings and credit cooperative organizations. This problem has worsened due to the harsh economic times, which have seen cases of loan default rise sharply due to stiff competition. According to the CIC Insurance Chief Executive Officer Patrick Nyaga, the sector is facing competition from different lenders, hence the need for innovation. He also challenged the SACCOs to seek new ways of survival, promising that the CIC will continue supporting them.
I think one of the key challenges that is facing SACCOs and cooperatives, as usual, just like for any other business, is competition. Of course, you know that most SACCOs are lending to their customers, but we now also know that there are also many other institutions that are lending, not just SACCOs. Banks are there. We now have all these money lenders that are virtual. They are more accessible, you know, and therefore there's really a lot of competition, you know, with the SACCOs. And therefore the big question is, how can SACCOs, you know, look at that competition and be able to survive even with the competition? Yeah. Not doing well, then it means that the shilling getting to the customer's pocket is got many competing needs, and therefore there will definitely be some challenge. And one of the reasons probably then why we are here is to see how can SACCOs be able to manage that kind of a challenge by innovating better ways of lending and making sure that you know, customers really appreciate why they need to pay the loans.
As the economy recovers, we are seeing that go down, and basically look for other ways on how best we can be able to go around doing our businesses in a more sustainable way, to be able to put that risk to the minimum. Yeah.
Good to CIC because they've been very supportive, irrespective of the very many challenges we've been facing as a SACCO. They've been there for us. That's why we've been able to continue learning as a SACCO and doing business, irrespective of the very many challenges.
Well, that does it for our news tonight. Thank you for your company. I hope that you're up to date with what is making headlines across the country. For the team that has been supporting us online, asante sana, as well as to the team behind the success of this bulletin. We'd love to wish you a blessed night. Do enjoy the rest of your programming. My name is Cynthia Nanjala.